Hello and welcome to this special Conversations episode of Media Voices. I'm Peter Houston. This summer sees a packed sports calendar with the Euros in Germany and the Olympics and Paralympics in France. Adding these global events to the regular sports schedule amps up the demands on social media teams, and it's hard to imagine how they would cope without the help of automation. For this special Conversations episode, we are joined by Simran Kashyap, Vice President of Product at Social Media and Email Automation and Optimization Specialist EchoBox, and Nicholas Hauslein, Head of Social Media at SPORT1, one of Germany's leading free-to-air sports channels. We discussed the demands of adding worldwide sporting events to already packed sports calendars, improving efficiency and optimization in a time of generally falling social media referral traffic, building communities across multiple sports and leagues, and of course, the role of AI in planning and testing. I started our conversation by asking Nicholas to tell me a bit more about SPORT1 and what he does there.
SPORT1 is the leading multi-channel sports platform in Germany, in the German-speaking area. And we stand for live sport, for entertainment, and for sport news. And we are running a free TV channel, a pay TV channel, online activities, mobile activities, audio, like podcasts, and of course, social media activities. And we are based in Ismaning near Munich in Germany. And we have a website, sport1.de, where we have live streams, where we have video content. We have SPORT1 apps in the app stores. And of course, we are doing social media. And in my role as head of social media, I'm responsible for all the social media activities. And I started as an intern here at SPORT1 in summer 2018. And at that time, the major event was the FIFA World Cup in Russia. And we are active on the platforms Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, Threads, and X. And on that platforms, we have over 7.3 million followers and work with our editorial team in the newsroom. And that's what we're doing. I'm also working in our day-to-day daily business. And otherwise, I have a lot to do with team management and strategy, budgets, and reporting.
Thanks, Nicholas. And Sim, can you tell me about EchoBox and what EchoBox does for publishers?
Absolutely. So at EchoBox, our goal is to help publishers to automate their content distribution. And we offer solutions for social, for email, and for analytics benchmarking as well. All of our solutions help to save time and maximize the performance that publishers can achieve through those channels. We work with thousands of publishers across the world in hundreds of different countries. So all different types of organizations, some broadcasters similar to Nicholas and others in more traditional online media.
So Nicholas, we've got the Euros going on in Germany right now. And I know some of the games are just around the corner from you. Then we've got the Olympics and the Paralympics going on in France, as well as all the regular sports, because you cover all sorts of other sports, right?
Yeah. And we are very big in darts and motorsports. But you said it, 2024, it's a big sport year for all publishers in Germany, for us. And the Euro in our own country is an absolute highlight for us that I think will not be repeated again in the coming years. And we had almost no break between the Bundesliga and the Champions League season, and then the start of the Euros now. And for us, it's important to cover these two events, the European Championship and the Olympics, as best as we can. And we don't have live rights with the games. So our topic is to cover emotions and fans and entertainment and capture the emotions in the various cities and try to make a positive impact and.
I'm guessing even without live rights, you still run highlights and match reports and even crowd reports. The planning behind that must be huge.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest task for me in the last month, the planning of this tournament. We have highlight clips on sport1.de or in our app, but we don't have them on social media. And for me, it's important to deliver the best performance on social media that we can. So we have fan reporters in all different cities. And I wrote an email to all my colleagues at SPORT1 that please send us your videos, send us your photos from the fan zones, from the stadiums, from the cities, that we can cover all these emotions on our social media accounts. And for us, it is really important to celebrate that event with all other cultures from Europe and present that on our social media accounts.
Sam, EchoBox is working with a lot of different publishing clients. Are you seeing these kind of global events driving different behaviours or different workflow challenges?
I think, as we discussed, it's a really big year for sport, but it's also a big year for news as well. There's so many of the elections and all of these things going on. And what happens in these events is it kind of concentrates the problems that people would have had with workflow and with managing the right volumes of content and which content should be shared, when it should be shared, what that sharing should look like. So really these types of events just make those situations harder for everybody. And it becomes more of a challenge than it is in day-to-day life, which everybody knows is already a major challenge.
Nicholas, I think you said you've been using EchoBox since you started at SPORT1 as an intern. But I'm imagining before that there were just manual social media processes. Can you even imagine doing your job without that kind of automation?
Yeah, so you said it. We are using EchoBox since many years, and I think the tool has changed over the years. We had the same problems as any other publisher in the world, I think, when Facebook said that they will limit the reach of link posts, and mainly that was our strategy. So we understood social media like a traffic source for our website. And then in March last year, they said, oh no, that will no longer work. And then we had TikTok, the platform TikTok. We have our TikTok account since October 2019. And we were very active on that platform. And I think we are lucky because we already had our TV and video section at SPORT1. We doesn't have to build that new from zero on. And then we started to make video content. And nevertheless, for us, it is important that we gain traffic. It's not as much as some years ago, but yeah, there is traffic. And we use EchoBox and AI on our Facebook sites. For example, auto-publishing on Facebook sites like US Sport, like ice hockey, like darts. Because in times like these, when we have a big tournament, Euros 2024, we really have no time to do that on top. We are using I think it's ChatGPT, the Inspire Me function. Yeah, so we use that function to gain our captions for Facebook. We use A/B testing to find out, is version A better or is maybe version B better? So EchoBox is an important tool for us in our daily business, and I don't know how we should work without it, to be honest.
Oof, that's a nice endorsement. Sim, AI sometimes seems like some weird magic box, and I think a lot of people, myself included, just don't know how it works. How do you integrate it into planning or testing for social media?
Yeah, we've been using AI for ever since the company was started. So, over 10 years now. So unlike other approaches that are taken by other people, it's not kind of bolted on, it's kind of core to what we do. So I think we came to this realization very early, which is you have to be solving a real problem. If you're not solving a real problem, having all of the AI technology in the world is going to be of no value. So the example that Nicholas just gave there of the ChatGPT, the way in which we do that is we look at the type of content you've been sharing and say, well, what's your tone of voice? How do you usually create these messages? And then we also look at things like what types of messages have been performing well for your content on your pages. So we'll tailor that for every single page to make sure it's to your tone of voice and written in the most performant way that it can. And don't make it a kind of, you have to enter a prompt in every single time you want a message. That's just really disruptive to the workflow. You want it to either be just there so you can see it immediately, or if you want it, you click one button and it does it all for you. So it's really about streamlining to the workflow of publishers and making sure that we're solving the problems that they're facing.
Nicholas, do you ever feel like you've lost control by automating?
No, I don't think so. We are using cross-posting a lot, and in the settings you can decide in which hours you want to do the auto-publishing or do it manually. The most important thing for us is the RSS feed in the middle of EchoBox. So we have a lot of content. We have pictures, we have URLs, so link posts, and we have reels, and we have normal videos. And it's really difficult to see everything, because we have the news ticker on our website and we have a new article every 2 minutes, every 3, 5, 4 minutes. And EchoBox is doing this for us automatically. So we just have to look in the tool, click on share, and then decide on which pages do we want to have this article. And then I can decide on SPORT1 News, I want this picture, but on SPORT1 Doppelpass, I want another picture. And maybe I want another headline. And maybe I want another description. And then I want to cross-post this also on Instagram. And that's really, really helpful for us, because, it's simply a lot of content, a lot of platforms, a lot of followers. And the Inspire Me function is, I think, a game changer for us, because in busy times, so now we have 3 Euro games per day, and it's a lot to do, and we don't have to think so much about teasings and captions and so on.
Okay, so the idea is that it says, here's how you should approach this, but your journalists always have the final say.
I think the algorithms, especially on Facebook, they want different content, so that you don't have duplicate content on more sites. So we try to produce unique content for every Facebook site, and we have 27 Facebook sites.
27? Is that for different sports?
Yeah. We have our biggest site, SPORT1 News. It's for the most interesting and the biggest topics.
So that could be any sport?
Yeah, it can be any sports. When we are talking about December or January, when we have the Darts World Championship on our platform, we have a lot of darts content on that side. But we have a Facebook site for every sports: motorsport, US sport, ice hockey, handball, SPORT1 more. Yeah, it's a lot.
Sam, from your point of view, how do you keep up with all the changes going on with the platforms? Facebook's downgrading this, TikTok's upgrading that. Sitting at the centre of that, how do you make sure that the technology you've got is up to date so that Nicholas's stuff actually works?
The way that we generally approach it is we have, I think it's about 50 different algorithms that are all running at the same time. And each of those algorithms has a different job. So they're really specialists in their own domain, and they're built to work in the best way possible for that domain. So there'll be one algorithm which is responsible for thinking about how much content should I be sharing every day on social. There'll be another algorithm which is saying which of that content should I be sharing on social. Then it's when should I share that content on social. Then it's how should I share that content? And you can keep on going all of these different layers. So because each one is a specialist in its own domain, plus we have a lot of data, it's probably in the region of about 250 million data points, which we're analyzing. Because we have so much data across so many publishers in so many countries, we can be very sensitive to changes in the algorithm and spot these trends really early.
Nicholas mentioned video. Is that the kind of thing that would let you say, okay, video's working well, you should do more video?
Absolutely. So it could say, well, maybe the balance of the different types of shares needs to shift as well. So maybe you want to be posting a little bit more video content. So you can spot those trends on a micro level. So the day-to-day changes that are being made by the algorithms. I don't know the exact number these days, but in the past, Facebook used to be making hundreds of changes to their algorithms every single day, and they don't get published anywhere, they don't get spoken about. So you really need to be very careful and monitor very closely what's happening. So it could be about which type of content should be shared. It could also be more granular than that, and how should that content be shared as well? Do you want to be including a caption or a share message, or actually do you want something much shorter? It really will evolve over time.
So, Nicholas, I'm interested in how you train your newsroom staff to deal with all this information. I'm sat here and I'm thinking, oh my God, my head hurts. But you've got people doing this day in, day out. How do you train them?
Yeah, it's really difficult, because with the change to short video content, we have to change our workflows. Of course, we had this video department, we had this TV department already, and we have rights for Bundesliga to publish. But you have to train the editors in cutting videos, and you have to train them to set their cuts on the right points, because the start of the video is very important. You just have some milliseconds to catch the user, or you don't catch them. And that's important. And then you have new platforms upcoming, like WhatsApp, like Threads, and you have problems on X.
Everyone's got problems on X.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's really difficult, but it's a young team. I think the average age is about 24 or 25, and with 30 years, I'm the oldest in the team. And yeah, they are young, they are hungry, they understand the platforms, they grew up with social media, and they understand that changes very quickly. But yeah, it's really hard, and it's hard to make the decision. Is this a reel? Is this a TikTok? Do I have to cut the video different if I want to share it on WhatsApp? That's difficult. We are talking about formats. Is it 1x1, 4x5, 9:16? Do I post the video as a Facebook reel, where maybe the monetization isn't that high, or do I post that 9:16 video as a normal video because I have the ad monetization? So with one post, you have to make a lot of decisions that are important.
And is EchoBox helping you make those decisions? Is that data that either you or the newsroom staff can see?
Yeah, definitely, because we have like the score. So the score shows us how EchoBox is ranking that content. So if we have a score of 100, then yeah, I think that the content will work if I post that then now. And then we have analytics functions. So after posting, we see some minutes after that, we see if the content is working. And then I think the EchoBox is learning really quickly and understands how we post and how we tease, what is our language. And therefore, EchoBox is the perfect tool for us. I've tested a lot of other tools in the last month, in the last years, but we are still there. And I think for us as a media publisher, the biggest challenge is to have one tool, one system where we can make nearly everything we want. Because as media broadcaster, we are dealing with a lot of media rights. And media rights, we can post them in the German-speaking area. So Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And maybe the German Bundesliga, they want our scores, they want our numbers, what do you post and how often, blah, blah, blah. And therefore we have to use playlists, and we have to use tracking labels, and we have to use tags and maybe hashtags. And I think for the whole sport media broadcaster industry, that's the biggest challenge. And I think it depends on the API that the platforms give. But for us, this is the biggest challenge, to make sure that the content, in case of the rights, is posted correctly. And I can report that content easily to our partners.
The other thing I was going to ask you around that is, do you post different types of sport content to different platforms. So is darts really big on Facebook, but maybe not so much on TikTok?
Most of the content is posted on every platform. When we have a great walk on at the Darts World Championship or Nine Data, then the content is so good we have to post it on all platforms that we can. WhatsApp is not possible because on WhatsApp we can't set a geo-targeting, but on that platforms where we can do this, we post that. But what is different is the type of teasing we use. On TikTok, it is maybe younger. It's a younger audience, so our teasings are younger. And on Facebook, our fans, our followers, they are a little bit older. So yeah, there we are using another language. Let me say it like that. Yeah.
No, I get it. A different way of seeing things. Sim, I've got a question for you on the scores functionality then. Analytics is one thing, but predictive analytics sounds like magic to me again. Is it just that you can take all those millions of data points and infer what's coming next?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really big factor. I am not a data scientist by trade, so I leave a lot of those decision making and kind of creation of those algorithms to people much smarter than myself. But effectively, it is about looking at various signals and trying to say, will those signals give us an indication of the performance that's about to come? So it could be, how are things performing right now? If lots of people are going to a particular page and driving a lot of traffic there, that's obviously a signal that something about that page is doing well. So that may be an indication. You may be able to look at this particular type of content. How has it resonated with this audience in the past? That can also be a really big factor. You can think about the time of day. Different types of content may do better at different times of day. And you take hundreds and hundreds of these data points, bring them all together to be able to make decisions about the right time and the right potential for different pieces of content. It's really important to note, though, that those scores that we mentioned will change over time. So even for the same piece of content, you can end up with something which is 100 now, but in a couple of hours that may have dropped down to, say, a 70 or a 60, and something else may be the best thing for you to post right now.
Nicholas, I'm guessing that means someone is looking at this all the time. Nothing is taken for granted. Is that about A/B testing, or is it a process of iteration? Test and learn and test and learn and test and learn?
Yeah, I know what you mean. We test a lot every day. We are using the A/B testing function a lot. And for us, it's important that I know that we wouldn't have done the post better than the AI from EchoBox. If that is the same, then I'm happy, and then I can use that functions. I think it's the A/B testing, and what is also important is the automatically UTM parameter, that we can track our content in our own systems, and I don't have to go on our website, copy the URL, copy the UTM, place them together, and then put them manually in the EchoBox and post then. EchoBox is doing this automatically, and this is time saving. So we are saving many hours every day, every week, because we don't have to do all that stuff manually.
I guess then that leaves the newsroom staff free to do more creative things, whether that's cutting video, coming up with captions, or choosing the right image.
Yeah, or for example, I can send my my colleagues to Munich City to do fan content with the fans cheering for Romania. I don't know, and we don't have to sit here in the newsroom all the time, and 10 people are posting manually via EchoBox. We set on auto publishing. We are doing A/B testing. We use the scores, and then for me, go to the Munich stadium, and you come back later in 3 hours, and then continue your work. That's it.
A lot of people, including me, complain about AI, but actually, if it's used properly, it can free people up to do things that only human beings can do. You can't send an AI to the Euros fan park, right?
Yeah. We have to catch these emotions, of course, and therefore we have to go there. That's no question. But all other editorial stuff, we can say AI. Let's do it. EchoBox, let's do it. We can focus on creativity, on video production, and I'm really happy with that.
I'm interested in the idea of you saying to EchoBox, is this new feature possible? Can you say, we'd love to do this?
It happens all the time. One of the things that we really like to do, because we are so focused on the publisher domain, we spend as much time as we can speaking to publishers and trying to understand their problems and any ideas that they have as well. So an example of something that started to happen last year, we spoke a little bit about the micro decisions that the algorithms might make, but you also start to see these macro trends happening as well, where Facebook will make a fundamental shift in terms of what they're doing. And one of the things they did was to reduce the kind of the traffic that was being achieved on link posts. But at the same time, if it wasn't a link post, it started performing really well. So a lot of publishers started saying, is there a way that we can take our link content and repurpose it and use it in a different way to take advantage of the algorithms and increase our engagement? Or maybe even keep our traffic at the same level as it was previously, but just not getting the limitations on reach that they may have had. So we've had a lot of conversations with publishers about that. We've got lots of different things that we're trying out at the moment. But for example, being able to share those links in your comments or in your share message can be a way to sort of streamline your process and maximize your performance.
More generally, Nicholas, is social media traffic still important to you guys? Are you trying to move away from social traffic, or is it still just a huge part of what you do?
It isn't a huge part of our KPIs, but yes, we are doing, or we try to do traffic shift. But with our focus on video content, I'm looking at other KPIs, for example, the views or the watch time or the reach. But what would be interesting in the future is, for example, when we have an article at SPORT1.de and we could automatically create a video from that article with 1 or 2 clicks. That would be really interesting, because that would also change our workflow, because maybe then we don't have to do that in our own production. And then we are very, very fast in transforming news in videos on social media.
By that, do you mean transforming text into video? Basically translating text into a video file?
Yeah, that would be the wish, that we have an article with information and with pictures, and then AI is creating a video with that information and that pictures and that voice.
So it would have images, it would have captions, it would then have a soundtrack and audio, but it's all automatically generated.
Yeah, I think what could be difficult is music rights, maybe. Music right could be a problem, and also the image rights. So, for example, we use Imago images, but when we have articles produced by agencies, maybe they don't have Imago, but they have Getty images, and then we have a problem when posting that content on social media. So I think that's the challenge. Okay,
Sam, can you sort that in time for the Olympics, please?
I can probably tell you guys that we are working on that. We've been working on it for a little while now, and we have some solutions in that space, but they're kind of still evolving and being kind of improved. It's a really hard problem, as you mentioned, because there are so many moving parts. You've got to think about the content that's going into it, the copy that goes into it. You've got to think about the imagery. You've got to think about the audio. You've got to think about stringing it all together in the right way. So it's really important to us that the things that we build are high quality, because publishers are using this to share on their channels. So we have done a lot of experimentation in that, down that path, and I'm probably revealing this publicly for the first time, but yeah, we absolutely have some stuff that we're working on in that space.
And Sim, I think also the corporate identity is a problem too, isn't it?
Exactly. So making sure you have all of those things factored in makes it quite interesting. I don't know if you've seen any of the AI generated videos where people have multiple, like 10 fingers and things like that, right? So there's lots of challenges that you have to work through to get to a high quality product.
By corporate identity, do you mean making sure that your branding is in the right place and displayed in the right way?
Yeah, exactly. That.
You guys have just gone through a huge rebranding, right?
Yeah. Do you like it?
I don't know the older one, but I absolutely love the new one.
Yeah, we also like it.
Did you do that because there were so many high-profile events going on this year, or was it just time for a rebrand?
I think it was time for a new DNA, brand DNA, new CI. And yeah, it seems like a great kickoff to have a rebranding when big events are coming up in the summer. But however, yeah, that was inspired by corporate strategy and brand DNA. And of course, we are happy that we have the implementation before the start of the Euro, and we have the new design now. But we are not ready yet. It's a process. I like it.
Yeah, that's like the understatement of the year. It's a process. Rebranding is one of the most involved things that you can do to any online business. Eventually you realise, we haven't done that set of assets yet. It's never ending. I think that's the kind of thing automation and AI would definitely be useful for.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Can I ask about the community aspect of social media? So much social media in the past was about broadcast, pushing content out, getting traffic back. More recently, publishers have been talking about building online communities, getting engagement, getting people involved. Is that something that SPORT1 is looking at?
Yes, of course. We are looking a lot on our communities and our fans, because there's nobody nearer by the fans than we are from the social team. And we have tens of thousands of comments every day. And we have to listen to them. We have to listen to the fans, what they want, what they think. And when we read that and when we hear that, then we can produce new articles and new news and new videos. And that's then important for our own platforms. And to have strong communities over years, that's also important for our partners, because, of course, we have to earn money, We all have to earn money. And if we have a good community and a strong community and no hate and so on, then we are interesting for that partners to spend money on our platforms. And because of that, we are living the idea of community management. And of course, we also have tools for this, because nobody can read 10,000 comments on each day, and then you get stupid.
Are your communities organized by different sports, and do you go to a club level, like for the Bundesliga?
Yes, they are. Yeah, we also have Facebook sites for Schalke 04, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, Eintracht Frankfurt. We have pages for the fans of the clubs. We have the highlight clips for the first Bundesliga, for the second Bundesliga. You can see every match from Sunday to Monday on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, on our own platforms. And on that platforms, we also have different teasings. And of course, we have different videos.
And how many staff do you have?
We are around 22 editors now in the team, and we are working in one early shift and one late shift a day. And over the night, we are activating auto publishing on our sites. And in the morning, I do it. I use Sim, you know it. It's time slot and optimal posting, because when you are coming in the morning and a lot happened in the night. US Sport, they are playing in the night for us in Germany. Then I don't have the time to set manual posting times, 8 a.m., 8:30, 9 a.m. I use Timeslot and Optimal, and then EchoBox is doing the rest for me.
Sim, is this a typical use of EchoBox features? Do you see other publishers keeping a relatively small team compared to the amount of content they get through and using features like automated posts and optimal posting times?
Absolutely. I like to think about it like an aeroplane. So EchoBox can be run on full autopilot. No one has to do anything. It just does everything for you. You can run it in kind of a co-pilot setting where it will give you suggestions and it will help you out and tips along the way. Or you can run it completely manually. That all of those three modes work. But the reality is most organizations use a combination of all of those. And there are different times of day when one might be more appropriate. There might be different types of content that are more appropriate for one or the other. So it's really about being adaptive to what you need. But using automation is going to allow you to have the ability to run a smaller team relative to the content and make sure that you're sharing that best content. Because Facebook definitely, and many of the others as well, they don't want all of your content. They just want the best content to be shared. And if you share too much, they're going to start penalizing you for that as well.
Well, what's too much? Does that depend on the platform?
Well, I think it depends on lots of different things. It depends on the platform. It depends on the content that you have. It depends on your audience. I'd never be able to give a specific number because it's different for everybody. It's probably, and Nicholas can confirm this, it's probably different for different pages within the same organization as well. So you've got to really find what works for each specific instance and then go from there.
Yes, for us, we post between 150 and 200 posts per day on different platforms. And on Mondays on TikTok, it's more because we have the highlight clips, first Bundesliga and second Bundesliga. Maybe we have 15 TikToks on Monday, 10 on Tuesday, 5 on Wednesday. And on other days, in the summertime when we have no euro in the own country, then maybe it's one TikTok a day. But the average is between 150 and 200 posts a day on Facebook, WhatsApp, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Threads.
Just to go back to the community aspect, when you said about no hate, no trolling, is that moderation something that you can automate? Or is that something that you have to have someone looking at all the time?
We have community managers in our team, and they are responsible for active communication with the community. We have a tool. The tool is filtering with a blacklist some words. If there's a word combined with an emoji, then the comment is deleted by the tool automatically. But we need these editors, and they are really good to go into the discussion with the fans and answer their questions. And I don't know any tool right now that is able to do that. Of course, you can use chatbots, but they have no emotions. That's the problem.
Unlike people who have too many emotions. As a German broadcaster, particularly doing things like the Olympics and during the Euros, do you have an international audience? Is all your content German language?
Yes, all our content is German language, and I think 99% we are operating in the German-speaking area, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, and we post in German, and I think that will not change over the next years, but I think it's interesting talking about AI transforming German video into English language. We tested that, and it's pretty good, I think, but I don't know that I don't think that it will be our main focus in the next weeks or months. We test that, but we have our communities in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, and we focus on that.
So a long-term aspiration rather than a plan.
Yeah, and the problem is that the rights we have, so it's no problem, that's the case. We have the right to publish that in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. So people from France, for example, they simply don't see the content, and because of that, we are not so interesting for them. And it's the same for motorsports, it's the same for darts, it's the same for volleyball, it's handball Bundesliga. We have different geo-targeting for different sport leagues. And the rights, they come and they go. We have the period in the German Bundesliga for 4 years, and let's see what's going on then.
I think the idea that you can do so much through one interface is a really, really big deal. We did an episode a couple of years ago talking about publishers' tech stacks. Some had up to 50 different platforms with some of the bigger publishing operations. And that seems, obviously, I suppose, the heart of what you're trying to achieve. Is it a real benefit that there's so much you can do through that one interface?
For me, it's a big benefit because we also work a lot with interns or young colleagues. And when you have to show them 5 different tools with 10 different functionalities, that would be not so easy. And you show them one tool and you can publish with that one tool on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and so on and so on. And also maybe it's a small thing for some colleagues, but for me it's important to have a clear and simple design. I don't need a dashboard where I see you have 100,000 unread comments and you can set campaigns and you can see your calendar. For me, that's not important. I prefer simple optics, simple design, and what we are doing is real-time journalism where every minute counts. And I don't think in calendars or in campaigns. I said that we post 150 to 200 posts per day. We have to be quick, we have to be fast, we have to be organized, and we need a simple tool, a simple interface with all possibilities and posting strategy that we need.
Is that good news to hear from Nicholas, that that's what he's after? Does that align with what EchoBox is trying to do?
Absolutely. For us, it's really important that what we're offering has all of the flexibility and power that people need, but is presented in a really simple and easy to use way. And we spend a lot of time and energy thinking about how we can streamline that flow as much as possible. Because if you're doing these processes again and again, day after day, you really need to make sure that every single time it's as efficient as possible, because that time saving starts to stack up really, really quickly. And also to your point about tools, it's one of the reasons we looked at launching the email product as well. It's a very similar mechanism where it can source the content, it can analyze the content and start to share that. It's basically the same interface. So when people are used to using the social tool, they're very used to using the email tool. And it's really important to us that we offer that.
Thanks so much to Nicholas and Simran for joining me, and thank you to EchoBox for sponsoring this Conversations episode. EchoBox is used by over 1,000 publishers around the world to save time and increase performance with social media and newsletter automation. You can find out all about the solutions EchoBox provides to publishers at echobox.com.